Welcome back to Marketing Champions on Daily Ad Brief. My name is Howard Wolpoff, your host, and we'll be talking about marketing and those that really are skilled and working very hard for companies to get their messages out there in the right way and responded to. Today we have Elizabeth McFadden from Novella Brandhouse with us. So Elizabeth, welcome to the conversation today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Well, we're excited to have you all the way from Kansas City joining us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Novella Brandhouse and what you're doing for your clients?
Yeah, so we are a brand-focused full-service ad agency based in Kansas City, Missouri. We also have a outpost in New Orleans. That's our PR group. But when I say we're a brand-focused full-service ad agency, we're a full-service ad agency in that we provide branding, advertising, marketing, and design, but we start from a branding perspective. Everything goes back to the brand, whether we're doing a website or a client's social media, their content strategy, or perhaps a marketing campaign. We make sure that it is on brand for them. We navigate their brand through those things, which is very important. We spend a lot of time focusing on who their target audience is, what their positioning is, what their competitive positioning is in the marketplace. Because quite honestly, if you don't have those two things right, it's hard to get the rest of it right.
Exactly. You have to make sure that there is a clear message of who you are before anyone's going to understand what your message that you're marketing actually is. So how did you get started with Novella Brandhouse, and what has been the key component to you in why you enjoy branding companies?
Well, I think I'm probably one of those rare people that I'm actually still doing what I started out doing right after college. So I started at a large ad agency called Valentine Radford, actually here in Kansas City. I went on to work for another ad agency, and but what I discovered was there was, this missing piece in the marketplace for small businesses, and a small business really is any company that's under 250 employees. And what I found is that the traditional ad agency model wasn't really a good fit for smaller companies. And so 15 years ago, I created a company which was one of the first virtual ad agencies at the time. And to really work and to cater to small businesses. And over the years, I merged with another, my former business partner. We created Novella Brandhouse into the full service ad agency that it is today. And I think, for me, the passion is truly in the branding. I had an incredible opportunity to work on the Sprint account many years ago. And they were, back in the 90s, they were one of the kind of really big companies like that, really embracing branding. And so I had some incredible people to learn from and to work with, and of course accounts to work on. And I just fell in love with branding. And I also found that I was pretty good at really finding what a client's, unique solve was, really what their true niche was in the marketplace, and to build a brand around that.
And it's important to have the right people for these small businesses, because a lot of small businesses sometimes they don't have any type of marketing department. Sometimes they don't even have a marketing budget to get started in the right directions they need to. But for their success, they're going to need to have the right messaging to get out there. So what do you see as the evolution of branding over the next couple of years?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, right now, a customer has so many different opportunities and ways to find out about a company. There's a lot of messages coming at them. And I think content has been king for a while, but that is going to continue. It's interesting. The pandemic really kind of changed the way a customer's buying journey, for instance. And so that, of course, changed the selling process. And the content, a brand's content became so much more at the forefront because, you didn't have a lot of the in-person opportunities for sales or for a buyer's learning And so that early content that they were consuming was so important. And what customers or what buyers are looking for are that know, like, and trust factor, right? So they find out about a company or a brand that solves for their pain points, and so it's they're out there looking for solutions for their pain points. So it's really important that a brand can speak to that in their content, on their website, all the places where the brand is when they're not in the room. And so, what that strategy looks like and how a brand, rolls that out is so important. How they're describing, to their customers in their customers' language, the type of language that resonates with them, how they solve for their pain points. They're really clear about that. And then, explaining to a potential customer why their brand is the brand of choice for that, for that audience, and finding a way for customers to connect and then to engage is really important too. And that's all. It all has to be on brand, but it all comes back to, again, really knowing your target audience, being able to speak to them, and knowing your competitive positioning place in the marketplace.
It always continues to be the same thing. The companies that are able to connect and communicate and have that relationship with the greater audience are the ones that are going to succeed and have the growth and have that relationship develop as time goes on and continue to be part of their lives moving forward. So having the right branding person and the types of real focus that you give to your clients, it's endless what you provide to them, and it's really fantastic of what you're doing within with those that you are spending that focused time with.
Yeah, it's I think so much of the time brands or companies, they always think about it from their perspective, like, what are we doing? And they talk about themselves. And, the customer's looking at it as, hey, I have something that I need to solve for. I have a problem that I'm looking for a solution. So the more that you can always put yourself in your customer's shoes and being helpful in your content and actually using words that your target audience uses. That's another thing that sometimes brands get really caught up in, is I think they want to come off as they know what they're talking about. So they like to use a lot of industry speak. And that can either turn off your audience, or maybe your audience is like, I don't understand what they're talking about. This doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for, and they leave or they become disengaged. And so, just being able to really speak to your audience is important, and knowing what they need and kind of being timely, in terms of understanding their buying process. When is it that they just need to know who you are? When is it that they need more information about your product? When is it that they need, maybe some testimonials or some social proof to know that, yes, they are in fact making the right decision?
And that's how people are going to react. They react to someone who's speaking to them, not speaking about themselves. And it's the work that you do directing companies to make sure that's where the conversation is going is very important, and which is why we like focusing on companies like you and people like Elizabeth, so that you can learn more about what they do and how they do it. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today and really sharing more about branding so that for our audience.
Well, thank you. This is obviously a topic I'm very passionate about, but one that is important to every company. We really feel like your brand drives everything. So thank you for having me today.
And thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. Branding really is important and really is the message that you're giving out at all times to your audience. So learning more about people like Elizabeth and the Novella Brandhouse is important. You can find more on dailyadbrief.com. But go out, have a great day today, and we'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.